Seeing the title of this track, Junk Bond Trader, just makes me think of like sometimes we have people that drive up and like, take like the junk that you leave out in front of the yard and everything like that. I leave them some good stuff sometimes. I'm not going to lie. They shouldn't just be using that for scrap metal. They should be using it because I leave some good stuff out there. Anyways, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you're doing well on this beautiful Saturday afternoon that it is for myself right now. Today, we're going to listen to Elliot Smith. We're going to listen to this track, Junk Bond Trader, off of the album Figure Eight, fifth studio album from him, released in 2000. We're listening to this track because it had been suggested and sponsored by Joe. So, Joe, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that a lot. I've never heard of Mr. Smith. I forgot to mention, this was also suggested by Magic Malik. I see you as well. Never heard of Mr. Smith. Don't know a thing about him, but we're about to learn a little bit. So I see that this is also your favorite song, or one of your favorite songs off the album, Joe. So let's go ahead and dive on in. We will talk about it a little bit after. Here we go. That piano, the harpsichord.
The invitation picks you up like a habit, riding in the glow of the TV static, taking out the trash to the man. Something they understand.
Cool sound.
A stick man flashing a fine line smile. Junk bond trader trying to sell a sucker a style. Rich man in a poor man's clothes. The permanent installment of the daily dose. Tell it like it is. Your world's no wider than your hatred of his. Check into a small reality. Boy, as a drug you take too regularly. The athlete's laugh, the broken crutch, the first true love that folded at the slightest touch. Brought down like an old hotel. People digging through the rubble for things they can resell. Happy holiday. Said Savior, the living lover, still faithful. I won't take your medicine. I don't need a remedy to be everything I'm supposed to be. I don't want nobody else. I can do it.
The way the music overtakes his vocals, he just kind of rides that wave. That orchestra really integrated itself really nicely into the music.
Traffic, keeping everything moving, everything static. I'm the hitchhiker you'll recognize, passing on your way to some everlasting. Better sell it while you can. Better sell it while you can. Better sell it while you can.
There's a lot of depth in this track, not only lyrically, which I'll have to parse out and look into, but absolutely musically and sonically. I love the guitar tone that he's playing with in here. I love how in the very beginning you had some harpsichord on top of the piano, it sounded like. And just looking at the personnel list, Elliot's kind of handling almost everything for the most part. The drums on here are going to be performed by Pete Thomas, who, just hovering over his Wikipedia page, he's most known for working with Elvis Costello and the Attractions, which is kind of cool how he's involved here. But Elliot is really handling like everything that's happening here. So he's not exactly, but basically a one-man group, which I think is extremely impressive. I am always thoroughly impressed, almost regardless of if I like the music or not. I'm always impressed when it's primarily one person who's handling almost all of the instrumentation, which in this case it is, because besides the strings and the drums, which I'm looking at right now, he's on everything else. Strings are going to be conducted and orchestrated by Suzy Katayama on this particular track. So I love the guitar tone that he has, that kind of wailing. I'm sure there's a proper term for it, but the wow, wow sounds like a bad cat, but like that kind of tone, because to me it gives it a sense of urgency. It sounds like crying out. It sounds like desire and wanting for something more. I love the way that the orchestration, like I mentioned during the song, integrates itself into the music as well, because it does so subtly, but at a kind of climactic moment halfway in, and the music changes at that point as well. It opens up, allows for some drama, allows for some air before filling it back up with the movement of the music once again coming in. Elliot himself has a kind of calming, personable, this is not what I mean, but like a slacker rock kind of sound, but like deep. Like, here's what I'm thinking of. He has like the kind of voice that would fit very well into a 90s, 2000s alternative rock kind of sound. But he has a certain nuance and a certain character about him that also speaks to depth, which, like I said, I'm getting a lot from the music and, of course, the way he's handling everything, but also in the lyrics, which we'll dive into here momentarily. So I just think that all comes together really nicely in a package like this. Yeah, that's... I didn't have a transition. I didn't have a way of transitioning to the lyrics here, but let's go ahead and do so right now. Also, can I just tell you, there's 2 wasps out my window, and they keep on like buzzing trying to get in this window. It's not happening, brother. The imitation picks you up like a habit, riding in the glow of the TV's static. Taking out the trash to the man, give the people something they'd understand. A stickman flashing a fine-lined smile, junk bond trader selling to sell a sucker a stock, rich man in a poor man's clothes, the permanent installment of the daily dose. So far, I'm getting one word out of this. I'm getting life. I'm almost getting he's just kind of going through life, the daily motions right now. And you tell off when you tell it like it is. Your world's no wider than your hatred of his. So who is the his? Checking into a small reality, boring as a drug you take too regularly. I love that line. The athlete's laugh, the broken crutch, the first true love that folded at the slightest touch. Brought down like an old hotel, people digging through the rubble for things they can resell. So there's the junk, the scrappers. Happy holidays, sad sick savior. The leaving lover that I still favor. The writing's really good. I won't take your medicine. I don't need a remedy to be everything I'm supposed to be. Can I say that these lines right here, actually, I bet you, right there, I bet you someone has this quote either tattooed on them, on a wall printed out, somewhere for them, because that's a great little line. I don't need a remedy to be everything I'm supposed to be. I think that's powerful. I think a lot of people, myself, putting in myself included, struggle to find the thing that they are here for. What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be? And I love that line. I don't need a remedy to be everything I'm supposed to be. I don't want nobody else. I can do it by myself. We're meant to be together. Interesting little contradiction. He says, I don't need anybody else, and he can do it by himself. But then he says, we're meant to be together. So who is he talking to in this line? Probably the same person he says, your world's no wider than your hatred of his. Is he talking to us? Now, I'm a policeman directing traffic, keeping everything moving, everything static. Like, yeah, traffic's moving, but in the sense, life is still the same and not moving. I'm a hitchhiker you'll recognize passing on your way to something everlasting. Better sell it while you can. Better sell it while you can. So I get this. This is how I read this. He's trying to figure out what he's supposed to be everything he's supposed to be. Maybe he knows what he's supposed to be, but for whatever reason, he can't attain that because he says, now I'm a policeman directing traffic. I'm assuming, and I think clearly, not what he's supposed to be. He says, I'm a hitchhiker you'll recognize passing. Once again, not what he's supposed to be. So perhaps this is a cautionary tale because he says, better sell it while you can. I think that he's talking to us and in a sense saying, better sell it while you can. Better work towards your dreams while you can. Better to forage for those dreams while you can before you find yourself, for lack of a better word, stuck in an eternal rut where you do not belong and you know you don't belong there. Whether that's a job, a career, a place, just a place where you don't need to be. I think. Let's see if there's any information here on this particular track. Let me just do a Control F and give me a little junk in the trunk. I'm not getting anything on that end. Let's see. Just looking here to see. I do think the album cover is really cool. This mural right here, that does look really cool. Let's see if there's anything. Smith described the songs on the album as more fragmented and dreamlike. There's definitely a dreamy sense to it. The lyrics contain references to serial killers, Hindu deities, actors, comic book characters. But as far as I know, nothing specifically mentioned in this song. Now, I do see that there's some annotations in this one, so let's read this. Maybe we can find what we need from here. It says, it tells the story of an artist working in an uninspired environment, producing unoriginal music. Okay. Elliot had worked with DreamWorks Records, producing both XO and Figure 8. Working with a major label is frustrating for Smith, and it led to some disagreements on a creative level. He went as far as to describe the songs, as we mentioned, as more fragmented and dreamlike. The creative restrictions led to further problems. He threatened DreamWorks, saying that if they refused to break his contract, he would opt out of his obligations to them by taking his own life. Oh, wow. Smith did not fare well in an environment that restricted his creative skills. Junk bond trader can be used as a metaphor of understanding his creative struggles within the record label. I think that that's so interesting, right? We get a decent amount of songs that are, about feeling confined and the issues in working with the record label, sometimes slyly recorded and slightly, worked into the lyrics so that maybe hopefully they don't catch it. Or if they do catch it, they don't care as long as it hits the numbers that they want to hit. And I think that is really interesting how, at least according to what we read there, that's what the song's about and the lengths that he would go to be unrestricted in his artistic freedom. That is really interesting. That's a kind of interesting story back there. Joe, thank you so much for the suggestion and, of course, for the support. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments down below. Before you head out, if you don't mind, press that like button for me. It helps a great deal. Otherwise, please enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful one out there, and I'll see you all later. Bye.